Once upon a time, deep down in the sparkling blue ocean, there was a magical place called Mirelia. It was not like the other parts of the sea. In Mirelia, the water shimmered like glitter. The coral castles stood tall and proud, and tiny fish wore colors so bright they looked like moving rainbows. In this peaceful kingdom lived a young mermaid named Kisha. Now, Kisha was no ordinary mermaid. Her long, curly hair floated around her like a silver cloud, and her eyes sparkled like morning light, dancing on the waves. Her tail was the color of crushed pearls, glowing softly wherever she swam. But it wasn't just her beauty that made everyone love her. It was her heart. Kisha was kind to everyone. She helped old mermaids carry heavy shell baskets, played with baby fish when their parents were busy, and always shared her treasures from the seabed with her friends. Even the shy sea turtles would peek out of their shells when she passed by, hoping for a smile. In Mirelia, mermaids of all ages adored her. The old ones admired her kindness. The young ones wanted to be her friend, and even the royal seahorses bowed their heads when she swam by. But not everyone felt happy about Kisha. Far across the coral caves, hidden behind swirling kelp curtains, lived 4 young mermaids, Vana, Maya, Lyra, and Doro. They were known for being beautiful too, but not many came to visit them, and not many whispered about their grace. No songs were sung about them at sea festivals, not like Kisha, and that made them angry. Why does everyone always talk about Kisha? Hissed Vana one day, brushing her bright green hair furiously. Her tail isn't even that shiny, Maya pouted, flipping hers. She just pretends to be nice. Lyra added, crossing her arms. Everyone thinks she's perfect. Doro mumbled. I bet if she wasn't so pretty, they'd stop caring. That's when Vana's eyes narrowed. Then maybe we should do something about that pretty face. The others looked at her, startled. What do you mean? Whispered Doro. If no one sees her as perfect anymore, Vana said slowly, then maybe, just maybe, they'll stop loving her. They all looked at each other, and for the first time, a cold, mean idea floated through the water between them. The Deep Pearl Sisters, as they called themselves, had made a decision. They would ruin Kisha's beauty so the sea would forget her. But Kisha didn't know any of this. She was busy that day, helping her favorite sea elder, Granny Lua, clean the shell paths near the glowing coral trees. You're such a sweet fish, Kisha, Granny Lua said with a chuckle. If I had 5 more like you, this kingdom would shine even brighter. Kisha smiled and twirled in the water, bubbles trailing from her hands. I just like helping. That evening, the sky above the sea turned golden, and the merfolk began gathering near the Shell Plaza for the Pearl Bloom Festival. It was a special night, when the moonlight touched the giant clam flower, and a single glowing pearl would appear. It only happened once every 5 years. Everyone was excited, especially Kisha, but far behind the celebration, the Deep Pearl Sisters were watching, whispering and waiting. Their first plan was simple. Maya had gotten a jar of sea nettle slime, which could cause painful rashes if touched. She had seen Kisha apply her special lotion each night, a gentle mix of sea herbs and jellyfish gel that kept her skin soft and glowing. We'll switch it, Maya grinned. One rub, and that pretty face will swell like a pufferfish. They waited until Kisha swam off to help a lost mer-baby and quickly snuck into her coral pod. Maya placed the slimy jar on Kisha's pearl shelf and darted away. But something unexpected happened. As Kisha returned, a little sea turtle named Pilo swam too fast through the pod's entrance. He was always excited to see Kisha. With a happy squeak, he twirled, bumped into the shelf, and knocked the slime jar over. Splash! It spilled onto the sandy floor, fizzing loudly. Kisha blinked and covered her nose. Pilo, what is that smell? She giggled, picking up the turtle. This isn't my lotion. Granny Lewis swam over quickly and sniffed. Her eyes narrowed. That's sea nettle slime. Nasty stuff. Someone put this here on purpose. Kisha's smile faded. You think so? But Granny Lua only patted her hand. It's best not to worry too much. Jealousy can swim quietly, child. But the sea always brings the truth to light. The next day, the Deep Pearl Sisters were disappointed. That turtle ruined everything, Lyra snapped. Don't worry, said Vana. We'll try again. Something stronger, something no turtle can stop. A few days after the Pearl Bloom Festival, Mirelia returned to its calm, happy rhythm. Fish swam in colorful lines, jellyfish floated like balloons, and young mermaids practiced their flips by the soft blue rocks. Kisha was swimming near the shell gardens, picking sea flowers for the elders, when Vana and Maya found her. There you are, Maya called, her voice suddenly sweet like honey. We were hoping you'd help us. Kisha turned with a smile. Of course, what do you need? We're making necklaces for the little merbabies, Vana said quickly. But the prettiest shells are only near the shimmering drop. She looked away and said softly, "It's a little far, and we thought maybe you could come with us." Kisha hesitated. The shimmering drop was beautiful but also deep and quiet. Not many merfolk went there, unless they were with a big group. Still, she didn't want to say no. "All right," she said kindly. "But we should be quick, the tide changes soon." Vana and Maya smiled at each other. Their new plan was in motion. As the three mermaids swam, the water grew darker, the glowing plants became fewer, and the sea was quieter here. Kisha noticed but didn't say anything. She trusted her new friends. "We're almost there," Maya said. "Just a little further." But what Kisha didn't know was that Lyra and Doro were already waiting nearby. They had loosened some sharp rock edges on the cliffs above. Their plan was to pretend one had slipped and cause the rocks to fall on Kisha's face. "She'll be fine," whispered Lyra. "Just a tiny scar, and no one will call her perfect again." Doro looked worried. "Are we sure about this?" But before Lyra could answer, something happened. As Kisha swam beneath the cliffs, a group of glowing dolphins came zipping by, chasing a school of shiny silverfish. Their tails brushed the cliff edge, and suddenly the loose rocks fell early, too early. Crack, splash, the rocks tumbled not on Kisha, but straight between Vana and Maya, scaring them so much they screamed and darted away. Kisha quickly turned. "Are you okay?" she cried, rushing toward them. Maya was shaking. We're fine, we just a rock slipped." Kisha helped them both swim to safety. "Let's not collect shells today," she said gently. "Maybe the sea is telling us it's not the right time." Later that evening, the Deep Pearl sisters sat in silence behind the kelp curtains of their hideout. "That could have hit us," Maya muttered. "We could have gotten hurt. You were the ones who told her to swim under that cliff," Doro whispered. "And now she thinks she saved us. Everyone's going to love her even more." Vana slammed her tail against a rock. "She's lucky, that's all, just lucky." But the ocean knew the truth. Kisha wasn't just lucky. She had something special around her, a kind of magic that followed her wherever she went. The third plan came during the moonfish dance, a night when glowing fish filled the sky caves, and the merfolk danced in long circles, holding ribbons and pearls. It was Kisha's favorite celebration. She twirled with her little cousins and laughed as sea petals floated all around. This time, Lyra took the lead. "I heard Kisha keeps a little treasure box in her shell pod," she told everyone, "with special pearls and charms the elders gave her." "She doesn't deserve them," Vana whispered. "We should hide it, make it look like she stole someone else's." The idea quickly turned into a plan. While everyone danced, Lyra swam into Kisha's pod, opened the pearl box, and slipped in an old royal badge, something no ordinary mermaid was allowed to have. The next morning, 2 guards came. "Kisha," one said kindly, "we found a royal badge in your treasure box. These are only given to sea protectors. May we ask how it got there?" Kisha was shocked. "I've never seen that badge before." But before she could say more, a gentle voice called from behind. "I gave it to her," said Granny Lua, swimming in slowly. "I asked her to hold it for me while I cleaned my old chest. It belonged to my husband, who was once a sea protector." The guards bowed their heads. "Our apologies, young mermaid." As they left, the Deep Pearl sisters hid in silence. "She's protected everywhere she goes," Maya whispered. "No matter what we do," Lyra said, "something always ruins it." Vana's face grew darker. "Then we'll stop being gentle. Next time, we leave her a scar that even the ocean can't wash away." They didn't know it yet, but someone else had been watching from the coral shadows. A tiny starfish named Solo, who loved to ride on Kisha's tail. He had seen the truth, and now he would tell. The days passed, and the ocean glowed with peace again, but not in the hearts of the Deep Pearl sisters. Kisha remained as cheerful and graceful as ever. She helped the sea musicians polish their crystal shells. She visited the healing reef to bring coral fruits to sick mermaids. She even led a group of young sea urchins in a dance during the Tide Festival. She acts like she owns the ocean. Vana spat one afternoon, watching from behind a sponge wall. "She doesn't even know what we've tried," whispered Lyra. "She always has someone around to stop us," Doro added softly. Vana turned to her sisters with cold eyes. "Then we do it where no one can help her. Somewhere far, somewhere deep." That evening, they left a shiny note inside Kisha's coral pod. It was written on a pearl leaf, and the letters shimmered gently. "Kisha, we need your help. One of the baby dolphins is stuck near the old volcano reef. Please come quickly. Don't tell anyone, there's no time." Kisha found it just before sunset. Her heart skipped. A baby dolphin, she whispered. Oh no, that place is dangerous. Still, she didn't even think twice. She grabbed her shell pouch and swam as fast as she could, cutting through glowing kelp forests and passing lonely whale rocks. The water grew cooler as she went deeper, and soon she reached the edge of the volcano reef. Hello, she called gently. Where's the dolphin? She swam between the tall black rocks, careful not to stir up sand, but the only sound was her tail swishing. Then, splash, a sudden rush of water knocked her sideways. Before she could turn, Vanna appeared, followed by Maya, Lyra, and Doro. They circled around her like hunting eels. You lied, Kisha gasped. There's no dolphin. Vanna's voice was sharp. No dolphin. Just us, and your perfect little face. Kisha's eyes widened. Why are you doing this? Maya sneered. Because everyone loves you. Lyra swam closer. They sing about you. They smile for you. Doro hesitated, but didn't speak. Just one scratch, Vanna said coldly, holding a sharp seashell. And they'll forget you. Kisha backed away, her heart pounding. She'd never been this deep in the ocean alone, and now she was trapped. Don't do this, she said softly. You don't need to hurt me to be seen. Vanna swam forward, lifting the shell. This is your last shimmer, princess. But just as she moved, something fast and bright streaked through the water. It was Solo, the tiny starfish who loved Kisha more than anyone else. He flew straight at Vanna's face and stuck there like a wet pebble. Vanna screamed, shaking him off. That small second was all Kisha needed. She spun around and darted through the rocks. Vanna screamed after her, catch her. But Kisha had learned from playing chase with dolphins. She darted up, around, and between the smallest cracks of the reef. She felt corals scrape her arm, but she didn't stop. As she burst through the water near the volcano's glow, a loud voice rang out. Kisha. It was Granny Lua, swimming fast with 2 royal sea guards. Vanna and the others froze. We saw what happened, said one of the guards. The starfish came to the palace and showed us everything. He stuck himself to the queen's crystal window until someone noticed. You planned this, the other guard said firmly. You tried to harm Kisha again and again. Doro looked down. Lyra and Maya turned pale. Vanna dropped the shell. The queen herself arrived moments later, floating like a pearl cloud, her eyes filled with sadness. There is no room in Mirelia for jealousy and cruelty, she said gently. Your beauty should be in your hearts, not just your tails. The 4 sisters were sent to the far side of the sea to help rebuild the forgotten coral gardens, a place where they could learn patience and kindness. As for Kisha, she was taken back home and gently healed by the reef doctors. Her scratches faded quickly, but her heart remained full of questions. Why me? She asked Granny Lua one evening as they watched the glowing jellyfish pass by. Because bright things draw all eyes, Granny said, but true beauty always protects itself. And you, my dear, shine from the inside out. Kisha smiled. She knew now that kindness was a gift, but also a shield. She would always share it, but she would also be watchful, brave, and true. And Solo, the little starfish, became a hero. He now rode proudly on Kisha's tail every day, humming to himself and waving at passing seahorses. But the sea had more in store for Kisha. And that's the end of this story. Do not forget to subscribe, like, share this story with someone, and turn on your notification button for more exciting Kisha series. Until next time, bye.